Hello and welcome back. Today I'm back at camp, as you can see, and I'm going to do some work on the shelter. So I'm going to put some ends on now. So I'm going to put the axe to sharpen the ends of the sticks, and I'm going to drive them into the floor to create two walls, one here and one at that end on the tripod. That end, not end. And then I'm going to build a little wall just here to kind of protect my head when I'm lying inside. So collected a few bits of wood. I'm going to get some more in a bit. Walked to camp today from the house, so it's a little bit further, so I haven't brought all the chair and everything. So I have set up in the background, just over there is my little string hammock, really lightweight, and it's just somewhere I can get off the floor, sit and make a brew or whatever. Brew time today, I've got my ghillie kettle, which I'm going to use with some sticks from the woodland. It is quite wet today, so I might have to split some down to get to the dry wood on the inside, which I have always needed some wood on the way in, so I'm going to go collect that now. And I've also bought a really old school Trangier type cooker, like Meth's cooker, which I might make a brew on with the little pot that comes in my ghillie kettle, which I will show you my ghillie kettle and a few mods I've made to it. So I can use it as like a fire pit and stuff. So, but yeah, I'm gonna crack on with this first and then make a brew. It's 20 to 12, so I had a bit of a late get up this morning. So I'm gonna work for about an hour or so, get some stuff together for this, and then maybe make a brew. So just back at where these little dens, not so much little, but the dens are, and I'm just gonna see if I can see any activity outside. So whatever that is there, which looks like something, it looks like there is activity in front of this den. Just going to extend the pole. So there is activity outside of it. You can see the leaves being pushed in that way. I can't see any specific footprints or anything like that, but there is definitely activity in front of it. As you can see, it's a bit of a dumping ground at the back here. There's bottles everywhere and stuff, but whatever den this is, badger or fox, obviously, here in the UK, can't see any definitive footprints really, but there is activity in and out. That definitely wasn't there that time, last time. And as you can see, there is an animal track run going up that way, and there is also one just behind me, you can see just here. So whichever animal this is, they're using this clear track as their run. So if you was going to start doing any trapping, obviously it's illegal here in the UK, you'd look for track runs, which you can see there, and there is another one through that way, just here. So there's a couple of track runs. You see there's squished down vegetation going down towards that hole there. So there is a track run there as well. As I say, because of the ground, I can't really see any specific footprints or anything, but there's definitely sign here of animals. So you can see the track coming from down that way, it comes along here, and here where these rocks are would be a natural point where you could put a trap. So you could disguise a trap, a wire trap, snare trap. You could use the trees as a kind of a dangling point or whatever you wanted to do. So yeah, this could be a natural kind of point where the animals used to come in. So yeah, you could block off either side, or just try and not touch it as much as possible to create that trap. Same by that tree there, you could have a snare, the back of that tree there, round sticking out just here to get the animal. Yeah, and there's camp. You can see the wall there, so it's nice and close. When I do my first night over here, which hopefully will be soon, then yeah, hopefully we'll see some activity. So just across from camp, we've got this tree here. It's a beech tree. So you can tell this by the bark, nice green, smooth bark, and also the leaves, nice bright green, kind of an oval shape. And a lot of the leaves as well, if you look at the base of the leaf, one's slightly lower down than the other where it finishes. Okay, and the leaf pods here grow opposite, and then one on the end of the stem. Alright, and another thing which I clocked, which was actually at that man tracking course, is underneath a beech tree, which is this big one just here, is you won't have much growing underneath. And as you can see, there's a ring here of undergrowth. So basically where the leaves are on that tree and where the branches spread out, because hardly no sunlight gets there, you get a lot less growth of brambles or ferns or bracken or whatever it is. So that's a little thing to look out for as well, is if you get a sudden clearing, you look up, you see a beech tree, and not now, but earlier on in the season, when the leaves are nice and new, the tiny leaves at the end, the new ones, are actually edible. They're edible now, but they don't taste as good. They actually taste like apple peel, and they are amazing. Alright, so that's a beech tree. I'll put the scientific name on the screen because I can never remember or pronounce them. So yeah, that's beech tree. Nice, easy tree to recognise as well. Okay, so I've put some more sticks on the one end of the shelter to create like a head end, a bit of a windbreak. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start blocking off the two ends. So the end that's just here, what I'm going to do is, I've got a load of sticks just here. I'm going to put some points on the end. I'm going to drive them into the floor along the end to create a wall, basically, to block the wind. At the other end, I might do like similar to when you do a fire break, or the ball I've made behind you lot, which is some 2 pegs in the floor, long sticks, and then you put thicker logs in between them. So I might do that the other end to create and block that end off. So yeah, I'm going to start putting some points on the end. So today I've got my Husqvarna hatchet. This is one of my first kind of wooden axes that I brought. I had some of the fish scars, plastic ones, but this is the wooden handle. So I've sanded off the kind of information on it because it comes with like little drawings and stuff. So I sanded it off, smoothened it out. I've reprofiled the edge slightly. It does need a sharpen, to be honest, but I haven't brought the sharpening stone with me. But it'd be good enough today to put some sharp points on the sticks, and I'm also going to chamfer the top edge as well, just so it doesn't splinter as much on the sticks. So I want to get going and put some points on. So when chopping with an axe or any obviously sharp implement, for me, always use a chopping block of some description. Make sure your chopping block is away from you slightly, so if you do miss, if you miss and hit the block, it's not going to get you in your legs, or it's not going to get you anywhere on your knees or etc. So make sure it's out in front of you or just to one side. With a shorter forest hatchet, axe, whatever you're using, I always prefer to be on my knees when using it, and the reason being is you're cutting down on that miss striking area. So if you miss, it's always going to hit the floor or the chopping block that you're using. It's never going to swing and catch you in the knee, so if you're standing up or feet apart or whatever. So always make sure that you're using that chopping block safely. So I'm just going to keep putting some ends on these. So naturally just pick the thinner end of the log to chop into. You could also, as well, if you wanted to, just chop side on. So you're chopping that way, completely away from your body. As long as you're controlled, you should be fine. So, same again. Some of this wood is a bit rotten and punky, so we'll have to see how it goes in the ground. Nice big thick one. So with an axe, always make sure that you plan each strike. You're not just swinging it willy-nilly. If you're using a shorter stick, with your hand at the top here, always make sure your thumb is tucked behind the top piece of the wood. It's not so bad when it's this long, but if you've got something this long, for example, and you have a mishap, it could get down onto your thumb. So make sure your hand is behind the piece of wood as much as possible, so the wood protects your hand if you do have a mishap and completely miss. Obviously, if you're carving a spoon or something and you need to get quite close to the end of the piece of wood, this is where that would kind of help a bit more. Apologies for the sniffing again, I'm still not 100% this week. Some of this wood is green as well. There's a downed willow which came down about 2 weeks ago, so I've been using bits off that rather than it just sitting there. And the chopping block again is a piece of willow from a downed willow that I presume the Canal and River Trust had took down or moved bits of it. So some nice round chunks just behind camp over there. So as I say, to make sure you plan each cut. That's some for now. For me, when you're finished using an axe, I try not to leave it in the stump, to be honest. That's just my own personal opinion. I just lay it on the stump so I know where it is. Okay, so chopped all my bits up. So I'm going to get them all here generally where I want them. Grab the axe. Okay, so as I say, I'm going to stick these in the ground at the end of here to create a wall at the end. So just trim back some of these bits I put on last week to start creating like the lattice. So obviously the longer ones are going to go where they'll fit to create the wall. So leave a few inches at the top. That one broke, so that's rotten halfway down. So if you use that little one at the end there, save wasting it. And then let's maybe start from the smaller ones. I know lots of people are going to say you shouldn't be using the back of the axe, but it's my axe. That's how I decide to use it, but this is a cheaper axe, to be honest. I don't mind using it, just tap these lightly into the ground. You see, I won't be using something like my Gansford Brooks mini forest hatchet because I don't want to damage it. So let's use what we've got to fill the gaps. So that's that broken one, so I'll quickly just put a point on it, see if it'll survive. Alright, so that survived that one. It does leave a bit of a gap, but right, then we'll just keep now tapping these in to create my wall. It's nothing drastic. It's just to stop some of the wind coming through. And I could always put like more stuff in between it as well, like little bits like I have on the back. So careful you don't hit your hand on anything. I'll just keep on going. And then just keep filling the gaps until you're done. So as you can see, that's kind of what I'm going to go for. Just need to collect some more wood, which I'll do over the next couple of hours. Okay, so it's time for some food. So I've got, as I said, two kind of cooking equipment with me. So this here is a very old school kind of mess burner. So it comes like this. I got this off Marketplace. It's like one of those picnic ones from back in the day. It's rusty as anything, covered in oil and God knows what. So you pop the lid off, and you've got a snuffer, which is designed to obviously snuff the flame out, and the actual kind of burner. As you can see, it's absolutely rusty to anything, and it does say on it the ideal express British made. So I haven't done any research into this or anything, but as you can see, it's very old, very battered, and that there is actually your pot stand. So it all comes in one. So that sits in there. Put the meths in, get it going. You've got your snuffer that puts it out, and then the lid to hold it all together. But I've never tried it before. I got it a few weeks ago, so I'm gonna see how that works today, probably making a brew. So that's that. And then obviously my ghillie kettle. Now this is the bag, this doesn't come in this bag. This is made by Kernow Bushcraft, which is a company down south in Cornwall that make all different bags, and I've got quite a few bits of theirs for different bits of kit. So in here is my ghillie kettle. So that's a mod that I've done, but I'll show you that in a minute. So this is the ghillie kettle itself. It's the small, I think it's called a Traveller. So as I say, that's the bag that it comes in, which is a nice wax canvas bag designed for ghillie kettles and the Kelly kettles as well, the smaller ones. So in my kit, it came with a small frying pan, which is just a really thin aluminium pan, a small cooking pot, the kettle itself, which holds about just under a litre, I think. So this is the aluminium one, so just the box on the aluminium. So it's quite small, quite compact. That's the stand for the base. And then these do get stuck because when you burn them, they obviously, it gunk on the outside. So that's where you put the fire. And the two holes, obviously the airflow holes, so where you aim them towards the wind, and that sits nicely inside that stand. Just bring it off the floor slightly. I've got a couple of firelighters and some silver birch in there, which will keep them there. So now some bits of wood, fat wood, and some normal wood, which is bone dry, to get it going, just in case. And I have got a little kind of cooking rack that sits just inside there. You can use it on coals. It doesn't work great with wood, but small coals it works quite well. And as well, when you put the kettle on there, I have got as well the pot stand, which goes on top, which has got a piece of rubber around, but it locks together and sits on top. So you could have while you're boiling water, you could put your pan on there to get the water going, to warm up some beans or whatever. And then once the water starts boiling, you can then switch it to. Now this is where my little mod has come in handy. So this here is an IKEA or something like that utensil holder. So what I've done is I've cut it in half to the size I need it, height wise, cut a gap in it, and then that bit sits on top like so. So now I could put, if I was cooking, my pot on there. It's already warmed up from the water, and I can still feed little sticks in and carry on warming my beans or whatever up in my little pot like that. So that's kind of a little mod that I've done. And then obviously you can put that on as the lid as well. Alright, so that's kind of my little mod. So I think today what I'm going to go for is, I've got beans and mini sausages with some scrambled egg, some eggs. So what I might do is, I think I might use my Trangia type cooker to do all the cooking. So I'm just going to put everything in my frying pan, do the eggs first, chuck my beans and sausages in and eat straight out of that. And then I might make a brew on my ghillie kettle once I've got some wood together and stuff. Because I haven't had a chance to get anything together. I'm getting hungry, so I think that's how it's going to work today. Okay, so plan of action is I'm going to fill up the cooker with meths, pop it back in the holder, and then get that burning while I sort my food out. So similar to a Trangia, when you fill it, it drops down slightly. There's probably some kind of wick or something inside to get it going. So I'm going to pop that back in there, put the lid and stuff to the side. Now I do need this going for quite a while actually, so that's dropped down a bit now, so I'm going to put a little bit more in. And grab a stick, dip it in, set light to it, and just hold it there a sec to get some heat. I did spill a little bit just around the outside, just to kind of warm it up as well. I spill a bit of meths around the outside. So that's kind of going now. So, brew kit, water. I'm going to make a brew afterwards. So, after I've cooked my food. So it is starting to kind of bloom, if you want to say bloom, on the cooker. So as I say, today I've got 2 eggs which I'm going to scramble, beans and mini sausages, and some tomato sauce just to add for a bit of flavour. And I have got in my brew kit, I've got my salt and pepper and a wee bit of oil. Tell you what I might use today, which I've had for a while, I haven't used, is some coconut oil rather than olive oil or whatever. So, but I will quickly just show you that it is slightly blooming now. Now, this ain't a Trangia, as I said, but as you can see, it is starting to bloom to a certain extent. got that weird little flame sticking up, but I have no idea how old this thing is, so it's working-ish. We'll see. So let's set you back up. Hopefully you don't fall over. Right, so if this doesn't go to plan, I have got my little backup cooker here, which is, let me just quickly show you, one of the little tins that have got like the, what you call them, like the survival tin thing that's got like the mesh inside, and you use it basically like a Trangia cooker. So I've got that, which I know that works, with some extra fuel, a lighter, and the little homemade stand. So I have got that if needs be to use. Right, so let's pop that on there and see if it works. It is coming, the heat is coming up. As I say, I'm going to use some coconut oil, which I've got one of these little Nalgene containers, so I'll just scrape a bit out using my spoon. The handle of this. So, good thing about coconut oil, you can use it for cooking, you can use it for putting on your hands if your hands are sore. Loads of different uses for coconut oil. In the summer months, it does turn back to liquid when it's out in the heat quite a lot, so just be mindful of that. You can use it on wood to kind of treat it if it's getting a bit like your handle there. You can put it on your actual cooking implements, you can put it on everything, and it's an all-in-one oil, which is it's really good for cooking and everything. So the oil is melting, so it is kind of heat coming through. I don't think this is going to be mega hot, so we'll have to see how it goes, switch it over if needs to. As I say, a couple of eggs, which I'm going to scramble, not fry or anything. So we've just got some shell in my egg. Okay, that'll do. Right, so let's get this working, scrambling up. I love this frying pan. It was like £6 from IKEA, non-stick, metal handle. I just wanted something that will last in a fire or anywhere, and this is like everything, induction, gas, electric, so, and it's all right for about £6 or £8, I think it was. I've been looking at the Petromax wrought iron ones, but I can't warrant the blooming money for them, especially when I've got this. So, being sausages, it's Savers Morrison, so it hasn't got a ring pull. So, luckily, I noticed before I left, and I've got my trusty Swiss Army knife. So I'm just going to go around the outside. And then once the eggs are almost done, I will throw this straight in. One pot meal, just warm beans and sausages through. Give the egg a mix. One of the best kind of tools you can bring out with you into the woods, if you're going to bring one, is some kind of Swiss Army knife, multi-tool, something like that, Leatherman, anything like that. It's got saws. I can't remember which this one is, but it's got saw, knife, scissors, two knives, can opener, bottle opener. It hasn't got this isn't the one with the corkscrew. I opted for the one with the screwdriver instead, and just a nice little leather case that it goes in, which obviously can live on your belt or in your bag ready to use. So this egg isn't far off being done now. It's a nice quick easy meal for lunchtime today. So cook the egg through a touch more. Just going to put some my salt and pepper. So I've got my salt and pepper shaker. Pepper, salt, no pepper, and that chilli one I like. Bit of that on. So that's that egg, pretty much cooked. As you can see, as it's warmed up, it has got a little bit more aggressive. The old, very, very old picnic cooker. I will find some information out on this and add it in at the end of the video or in the description below. So pop them in, and then I'll take all the rubbish back of me, so that's going to go in there and there, minus the leaf, and then just going to give everything a nice mix in, and then just let it warm through, I think. So my Facebook Marketplace bargain, which I think I got this with a Furahand lantern and this, were both on for 15 quid from each from the same woman, and she did them both for 20. So I got this and a Furahand lantern, which was a bit battered. It needed some work doing to it, but the actual working of it works perfectly fine. So I've just kind of left it as it was. A bit of a rustic look to it. I got both of them for 20 quid, so which it was good. I don't think the woman fully knew what the Furahand lantern was, so but yeah. So I was going to let this warm through now, and then hopefully I'll bring you back in a sec to show you if the little snuffer does actually work. Okay, so as you can see, I have zoomed in a touch, and the food is pretty much nice and warm now. So I'm going to take it off, and then let's see if this little thing works, the snuffer. So, oh, perfect. Straight out. So for a tenner, just to try something, I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah, quite happy with that. And my beans and sausages are looking good. So beans and mini sausages straight at the frying pan. So I'll get this eaten, get some wood, and then time for a brew on the ghillie kettle. Okay, so this is what is known as a ghillie kettle. There is another version called a Kelly kettle, which is basically a rocket stove, basically, which is designed to warm water up. So how it works is fire in the bottom. There's a hole there which the fire goes up. The air draws like a chimney, and a small amount of fuel will boil the water. So this is a smaller version, about 500 ml, and it's a jacket on the outside. So that's a sealed jacket on the outside where you put the water, sit that on there, light the fire, draws air through like a rocket stove. It's got a wooden handle there and a lid which doesn't seal, so you can't carry water in these, but you can get like rubber bungs and stuff to put in, which I might get. And then when you pour it, so the water's boiling, that will whistle, and then basically you just pour the water like so into your brew. So this is a really lightweight aluminium one. You can get stainless steel and anodized aluminium, but I've got a Kelly kettle, which is the big base camp one, and that's stainless steel. The only issue I find with this is sometimes it might just be the drips coming down when you fill it, but you do get water build up, and I can't decide if it's sealed, if it's not sealed properly, or if it's just a bit of runoff when I filled it. But what I'm going to do is, so I don't waste water, because I've only got a litre with me today, I want to make a decent sized brew. So what I'm going to do is, my cup that I've got here is fill it to where I want it. So I want a decent sized coffee. So yeah, but that. Always put your lid back on your bottles and stuff, so if you knock them over, you're not wasting water. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the cup to pour the water into the kettle. If you're not very stable, bring it away from your tinder that you've got in the bottom. So there's a level just there at the bottom of this spout where you don't want to be adding any more water. So So I need to bring it up to just underneath that, so when it boils, it doesn't come out of that hole. So I've just put a little bit more in just in case I lose a bit. So I'll get my brew ready in a sec. So I've got my brew kit and my spoon, everything just here. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to get it lit. So all I'm going to do, I'm going to use a little piece of the fat wood. So I've got some fat wood, which is the one bit that's been lying around for the last like 2 weeks, and some wood wool. And then I've just got some really thin twigs, which I'm just going to put a couple in there just to get it going. You can't put too much in because the kettle needs to sit on the rim. If you put too much in, it won't sit on the rim properly, and it'll just not sit in the actual kettle as good as it should. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to light one of these, just chuck it in there, and hopefully it lights it. Then you drop the kettle on afterwards, and hopefully it's not too bright in here today, so you might see the flames coming out the top. So just going to get a bit of that lit, drop it on top. So that's the fat wood from the other day. If you remember rightly, that's been sitting out now for weeks, at least 2 weeks now. Just going to light another bit just so there's 2 pieces in there going. So that's going now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the kettle on, and the air should be drawn from the bottom, and the flames you should start seeing coming up, which once I start dropping these little twigs in, they catch. You'll see the flames come out the top, and it acts like as I say, like a rocket stove. Now it gets hot pretty quick, this does, so be careful when you're dropping the sticks in, and hopefully nothing's overly wet and this will boil nice and quick. So those little sticks are going now by the looks of it. Let me have a quick look how it looks. So you can see the flames coming out the top now. So that's acting as basically a rocket stove. So the water's on the outside, and it's warming up. So I'm going to put a few of these bigger sticks in here, and then what I'll do is once it's boiled, I'll show you I'll keep the fire going hopefully for a little bit. I'll show you how this thing works, which it acts as like a firebox. So while I'm waiting for that, I'm gonna get my tea and my coffee ready. Sorry, not tea, I'm gonna have coffee today. So I've got my sugar, which is gonna be a bigger coffee, so I'm gonna have 2 and a bit scoops. So this wood is quite wet. You might be able to hear it like sizzling and giving it some. So coffee. Now instead of a whitener today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a mocha. So I've got some hot chocolate here. So I'm going to have some hot chocolate with it to create a mocha, but also the milk. So as you can see, there's a little bit of water coming out the side there. So, oh, there you go. So you can see how quickly that boiled. Okay, so it's a good bit of kit. So I need to boil in little bits of water. Now, this is where I say you can use it as a bit of a rocket stove, not a rocket stove, you can use it as a bit of a cooker. So put that on there like so. I did have to cut a bigger gap in there, and you can basically just feed twigs in like so, and it should carry on going. Right, so I've got my cup ready with all my bits in. Handle, hold the handle, the wooden handle, and then pull up on the chain and pour your water in. Obviously this is a kind of a travel kettle, so it's designed for one person, but the bigger one I've got at home is like, I think it's about 2.5 litres, so it is a bigger kettle. So as you can see, the flames are coming through now. You could put a frying pan on there or whatever you wanted to use. So I've got my frying pan here. Stick your frying pan on there, use that to cook, etc. So you can use the base as the kettle to start with to brew up, and then you can use it afterwards to. Oh, that's nice. You can use it afterwards to cook your rest of your food on or whatever you want to do. So yeah, that's my ghillie kettle. They're not very expensive. The original design came from, I think it was the Irish fishermen, so they could take coal or whatever onto the boats and light a small fire in the bottom and have hot brews and whatever throughout the day. And yeah, quite lightweight this one. It's not too heavy. And people say you clean them, etc. I don't clean mine. I think it adds to the patina of it, and it is what it is. It's a tool. It's being used to cook warm water and cook and boil up, etc. So that's the ghillie kettle, and a little bit at the bottom. As you can see, that's proper going now, giving it some. But yeah, you could cook your whole meal on that with that little, as I say, you've got the little cooking pot with the lid, or small frying pan as well. So you've got an all-in-one kind of cooking kit. As long as it's just you, an all-in-one cooking kit in one piece of kit, and it ain't massive either, really, let's be honest. And if you were somewhere where it was very dry, there's lots of dead wood, there's lots of wood, like forests, etc., etc. As long as you've got some kind of tinder to get it going, you're not gonna run out of fuel. So you can cook on it for days, etc. You're not gonna have to keep refilling on meths or whatever. Even though I do like these, I always take some kind of meths cooker with me, with some meths. You never know, if it absolutely chucks it down, you've got no dry wood to get to, or you have to really work to get to your dry wood, then you've got something you can cook on and boil some water, etc. for warm food or a brew or whatever. So yeah, good bit of kit really, and it will last you a lifetime. The stainless steel ones are a bit more sturdy and they've got a bit more kind of backbone to them, but the aluminium ones, as long as you don't treat them like chucking your bag down and sitting on your bag and stuff, it'll last for ages. Okay, so the last kind of video today I'm going to be doing is a little review of a new kit that I've got, which is a flint and steel kit made by Beaver Bushcraft, which is this company just here. Okay, so after my last video of the flint and steel upgrade, after talking to Trevor Farrell-Stevens, he suggested I get hold of this company and buy some stuff from them. So I have, and the little kit that I got is absolutely amazing. So this is a little leather pouch. Inside it fits a couple of flint, which it comes with flint, a steel, this is a lovely little 50mm carbon steel, but this one is a dragon shaped one. You see the little head there, I just thought was amazing. And then inside there is some jute twine at the bottom that can be used as tinder. And then inside this little wrap here, which I've put together myself, is a couple of sulphur spills, which I'll explain a bit more in a minute. A candle, so there's a little beeswax candle, some black stuff, whatever it's called, brain fart, and some amadou, char cloth, and some amadou wrapped around the outside. So that was the kit that I got, and I also brought some extra amadou, some candles, more candles, some jute tinder cord, and these are sulphur spills. So these are the first kind of matches, so they don't light by striking, they light by heat throw, so from a steel. Okay, comes with, I brought some extra flint as well, which is nice shape, gives a nice spark, nice sharp edges. So all that from Beaver Bushcraft and leather. Comes with an instruction manual of how to do it all, how to use it, how to use each individual item the correct way. Basically just get out and have a go. So this little kit that I've got first here is the kit I use now for any kind of primitive firelighting I want to do, and this stays in my pocket at all times. So it's a nice little kit that you can keep in your thingy ready to go, so in your pocket. So I'm going to try and get a little fire going with some grass that I've got and using some of the char cloth. So I'll zoom you out slightly and bring you back in a second with some setup. Okay, so I've got the fire pit just off to my left just here. So I'm going to try, if I get my little pouch out of dry grass, which I want to get a nice big decent nest, make a little hole in the nest, get that ready to go. And what I will do as well is I'm going to open this up, so the little pouch. So I've got the char cloth, which I'm going to use some char cloth for this, and I'm going to show you one of the spills as well. Hopefully the spill will work as well. So I'm going to just leave that open just in case this all goes wrong. So I've got extra stuff. So I've got my flint and steel. So as you can see, making nice sparks. So I'm going to hold some char cloth, which I'm just going to rip a bit off, on top of the flint, and then just hit down until the spark catches. There we go. Oh no, nearly on the char cloth. Oh, there we go. So we've got a ember, and then hopefully there we go. So that's the sulphur spill. Just burns like so to get a fire going. So I'm going to try and get this in the grass now, and hopefully we can get a fire going using so just blow into the grass, make sure it's quite tight. I'll keep adding oxygen. There we go, flame, and then obviously just add that to twigs. So as you can see, burning away nicely on the grass. So worked really well. It's a nice little kit from Beaver, Bushcraft and Leather, and yeah, worked nicely. So update on shelter. So today I have blocked in that end just there. Still needs a few bits putting in, but it's getting there. I've created a bit more of a shelter above my head end there. I've started to block in the back side as well. It does need some more sticks down, and then before I go today I'm going to get some more branches and start laying them on the back to create like a denser area, like a latticed area, so then I can start putting leaves on when the leaves start to drop. So that's the shelter so far. It's not, you can't see it from the track up the top there. So yeah, it's looking good, and next time I'm back over here, which will be in the next couple of weeks, well, a week or so, I will be doing some more to add blocking that end ready for when I'm sleeping in it. But yeah, so I might extend that edge bit, this front edge out a little bit more. But yeah, it's getting there, so looking good. So this is one of those little lightweight net hammocks. They are good for day hikes. So mine fits in this tiny pouch I've got here, just an old pouch from back in the cadets. And basically, it just opens up to one big net. I did damage it slightly, so I have repaired it with some cord, but it's nice and easy to get into, he says. So it's good for just out if you haven't brought your chair with you, so you can sit yourself down, just pull it from under your butt a bit, and then just get yourself in. You couldn't sleep in this at all. Just wouldn't be comfortable enough, and it's not big enough. But for if you're out at camp for a couple of hours and you just want to take the weight off your feet, you can see nicely up. Can't really see the sky now because there's loads of trees, leaves on the trees. But yeah, it's nice just to chill out, relax. But yeah, they fold up really small and take up hardly no room or weight in your bag. And you got somewhere where you can sit and chill out and have a cup of tea or whatever. Obviously, you can use it as a bit of a seat as well. So if you're sitting cooking or whatever, you can just sit in it like that as well. So I've had this donkey's years. I had it when I was in the cadets and used it a little bit then. But obviously, I've got the big DD hammock, the camp one. But I might look at upgrading this for next year in the summer to like maybe the super light hammock or something. Yeah, so it's a bit more sturdy when I'm out and about, and could use it for camping as well. So, but yeah, so I'm just going to sit down for 5 minutes and just chill out before I start packing up, I think. So that's me done for today. So I packed up my kit, and this in the last half hour or so. So I've just basically been adding and adding and adding layers of thinner and thicker and thinner and thicker wood. So hopefully when it comes to putting some leaves and etc on, it'll be nice and watertight. So I've got a bit more to do that end and a bit more to do here, but it's looking good. What I'm also going to do as well is just over here, as you can see, there are loads of ferns and bracken, mainly bracken. So I'm gonna use that and chop it down and use that to kind of cover the back as well. Sorry, the back of it, yeah. And then hopefully do that on the day that I stay out, and then it'll be waterproof then. So, but yeah, that's it for today. I'm gonna walk back now. It's 4:45, so I'm gonna walk back and then have some food back at the house. Thank you. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you again next time.